Hello, gorgeous humans. Happy Monday. How are you feeling? Good morning. So, today we're talking about frequency, how to play with frequency to shift timelines. Oh, this is one of my most favorite subjects because this is how everything works. But it's completely contradictory to how we're taught how to do life. Most of the time, we're taught to look at life in a very linear, logical way. And when we operate like that, things take forever, if not never. So we're going to talk about playing with frequency to shift timelines. Good morning. Hi, Amber. Hello. Say hello as you're jumping on. Okay, so we're talking about playing with frequency to shift timelines, and I'm going to give you a little story of why this is top of mind for me because it's so fun and it's something you can literally do today. So by the end of today's show, you are going to have the tools to go and play with your frequency so that you can see how you are the one who is creating and shifting the timeline that you're on. Hi, Chris. Good morning. Okay, so yesterday, first and foremost, just a little lesson in following your intuition. Because yesterday, my husband took his mom back to her home in Hendersonville. As we know, Hurricane Helene has been absolutely devastating for especially Western North Carolina. And his mom just got her power back at her house. They are restoring everything very quickly. Robert said it was shocking how much they have gotten done, the workers that are repairing everything, how much they've gotten done just in a week's time. So, I mean, the efforts are being used. So, Robert was taking his mom home. It's about a 2.5 hour drive. And he wanted to take the girls so that they could, be exposed to things that happen in the world. And I was really on the fence with coming or going, right? And there was a part of me that felt like I should go, just like camaraderie and like support and all of that. But there was this really deep feeling in my belly that was like, no. You know what I mean? Like, no, I need to stay home. I need to, like, the thought of going really stressed me out. And I always pay attention to things like that, because it's not always mind logic, right? A lot of times when we have a certain feeling about something, there is a feeling for a purpose. So you start to really pay attention to the energy, and that kind of guides you in a really powerful way. So I stayed home. And in staying home, this is what happened. I did. It's so funny because I didn't even realize it until the end of the day. So there are certain things that when I think about my future timeline, like the version of me that I want to build myself into, the version of me who is operating at this highest vibration that I can imagine, right? So I did I did my little like ritual thing that I've been wanting to do. I created some new content because I'm working on new styles of content to put out into the world. I did my workout and I added in my mobility routine, which is what I've been wanting to do. Like none of this stuff actually matters to you guys. But my point with this is that those are all things that I have imagined myself doing as this future version of me on a different timeline. And I did these things not really even thinking about it. It was just what I wanted to do. Okay, now, mind you, this sounds all like cool, Marley, whatever. But at the end of the day, I didn't realize that I did all the things, by the way. Did not realize, like, didn't put it together until at the end of the day, I was like, man, I feel so good. Like, I just felt so solid in my body. I felt so calm. I just felt really strong. And I was like, "Oh my god. I literally did all 3 of the things that I have imagined as part of my daily routine as this future version of myself." And I did it unconsciously, like, not even really thinking about it. Okay, so here's why this matters. When we think about our different existences, now what I mean by that is your past has a certain level of existence, right? You remember the past version of you, right? That's a certain level of existence. Your present is a certain level of existence. And this idea of this future version of you is a certain level of existence. And they all play in a different frequency. It's all a different vibration of energy. So, one of the fastest ways that you can shift your timeline is to start incorporating playful energy here, because the moment that we put should or have to on something, there's pressure. And when there's pressure, it's not fun. And when it's not fun, your body response to it will be no. It's going to push it away, it's going to make it polar. So we have to make it a fun thing. One of the fastest ways to shift your timeline is to play in the activities that you see the future version of you doing. Just play with it. You start inviting into the present moment things that you see yourself doing in that one day, someday, I imagine myself in later thing. You feel me on this? Because we can go our entire lives keeping the future in the future. Like, if you are always thinking about what you're gonna do when I am blah, 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 then I will do that. You will constantly keep that future version of you just out of your reach, just out of your reach. It will always stay in the future. So, like I said in the story, I had imagined myself doing these things, but I hadn't been actively doing them, for whatever reason. I'm a human. And then because I had thought about it so often, and I had been thinking, I mean, I hadn't thought about the one day someday. I had been thinking, because I am who I am. I was like, I need to start doing that now because I know how this works, right? But we have resistances as a human. I was like, I need to start doing those things now. Like, what am I do? Why am I not incorporating mobility into my workout routine? Why am I not sitting down and prioritizing this content that I can see in my mind, like create it? That was always in this future version, future version, future version, right? So yesterday I do all the things. And at the end of the day, I feel like physically feel entirely different. And that is another part of this that will shock and surprise you every time. Because when you're existing, so I want you to think about it like floors in a building, right? Because a lot of times when we play with past, present, future, see how I did that? We put it in a line, but it's not really like that. It's really not like that. Like, tell me where future is. Like, it literally doesn't exist. You know what I mean? The future does not exist. The past does not exist. Both of them are thought forms. The only thing that we are actually experiencing real time is right here, right now, in the present moment. So there is either what you're doing right now or you changing what you're doing right now. And that creates the illusion of this future. But you can repeat the same present moment over and over and over again, can't you? Doing the exact same thing every day, that Groundhog's Day thing, having the exact same thoughts every day, having the exact same feelings and belief systems every single day. You could move a millimeter over 10 years by choosing to repeat the same thoughts, feelings, energy, circumstance, right? So the illusion of a future timeline is me creating a different energy. You guys follow? Okay. So if that's a different energy, then that energy already exists. This is what's so fun. And we're very quantum today. We're in that magical realm, but this is how we play. This is how things can happen lightning fast. It does not require a certain amount of time, also an illusion, for you to arrive at this future state of being. The only amount of time that it's going to take you is the amount of time that it takes you to shift your energy to that different frequency of reality. And one of the fastest ways you can do it is by asking yourself, how can I do the things that I see myself doing there now? Watch your entire life change lightning fast, okay? But let's think about why we don't do that. Number one, we make up stories about what we're allowed to do, right? We make up limitations, which, by the way, I read this the other day and I loved it. It said a sin, like our religious word sin, a sin is simply an inappropriate limitation in your consciousness. A sin is a limitation. A sin is where you are limiting your own consciousness so that you stay exactly where you are. You stay stuck. You don't grow. You don't evolve. You don't do the things. Doesn't that just make you really rethink all of your limitations? Like, doesn't that make you just go, oh my God? Every time I make up a story about why I can't, it's a sin. Every time I come up with an excuse about my fears over my courage, it's a sin. Every time I hold myself back, it's a sin. Come on. Like, doesn't that just change the game for you? It's like, oh, sorry, I can't subscribe to that limitation. It's a sin. I love it. I love it so much. Okay. So, what was I talking about before? Okay, past, present, future. The future is just a frequency, meaning that it exists now. And so, one of the fastest ways that you can start bringing that timeline of energy here is by actively doing the things that you see yourself doing in that timeline to whatever extent you can. You know what I mean? Like, you might have this big, broad picture up here, but there are things available to you here and now that you can start doing towards that. Does that make sense? So we do what we can, and grace fills in the gaps, and it does it lightning fast and in ways that we would never be able to predict. So, the second piece to this that I was trying to get to earlier that I have not is that it's going to feel entirely different than you think it will. Because when you're on one energy of frequency, one frequency of energy, yeah, when you're here, you can only observe here. Like, you don't have the capability when you're here to feel what this is going to feel like. So when you actually start bringing this here, it's going to feel so different than you could ever imagine it would feel. It's gonna feel entirely different. Now, I say that because when we're here, we sit there and we try to future plan and we try to predict how things are gonna feel. We do this because we want to prevent ourselves from feeling pain. I get it, but you're wrong. Okay? You're wrong because when we're in this frequency, we only have the level of consciousness that's available to us in this frequency. You don't have the access to hear. Meaning, okay, think back, think of your life 15 years ago. 15 years ago, think about what your life was. Could you have imagined today? Could you have even felt into what this was going to feel like, who you were going to be, what you were going to do, who you were going to meet, who you're going to become? Absolutely not. You could not have access to it. So when you're sitting in one level of reality, don't fool yourself into thinking that you know what the future holds because you don't. There's no way you can know. This is why, too, our guidance system, our universal, loving, supportive guidance system, only gives us step one. It only gives us the next step. It's like, hey, you have access to these things. Try those out. Try those out. But if you resist and you don't do the things that you have access to right here, right now, you're going to keep yourself stuck in this same level of consciousness and reality. And you're going to keep trying to plan the future and prevent your fear and prevent your pain, but you're going to still be here. So, and that's that step that your universal guidance keeps giving you. I always say it's just like repeating. It's like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do that. Hey, you should. Very calm, very patient. But essentially, our guidance says you have to do this step. And they're not going to give you the next step or the next step or the next step until you do that step. Because if we had access to the whole big picture, we would crumble, meaning like we can't handle it. Think about everything you've been through. Like, I know personally for me, when I think back on the last 20 years of my life, if someone had told me When I was a teenager, here's what you're gonna go through. I would have been like, nope, nope, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. Now, on the other side of it, it's shaped me into who I am. It's made me the leader and the teacher that I am. It's given me my morals, my standards, and values because of what I've been through. Do I ever want to repeat it? Hell no. But it shaped me into who I am. But when we're on one side of it, we don't have access to the whole thing because each step is going to forge us into who we need to be able to handle that level. You feel me on that? So we've got, and that's not to say like every level is going to be challenging by any means, but some levels are challenging. I'd be lying if I didn't say that. We know that, right? Some levels are challenging, but they're challenging because they're here to shape us into who we're meant to be. And this is why having the right mindset and the right understandings about how everything works in the universe is so important. Because if you're in one level of consciousness that says life's against me, life is not happening in my favor, everything is, I have to work so hard to do everything, that's going to beat you down. So if we have the correct mindset that says everything in life is supporting me in becoming who I'm meant to be. The circumstance that's happening right now is in preparation for everything I ever asked for. Well, then it makes it a whole lot easier to rise to that occasion. We got to have the right mindset about things. Mindset is everything. I mean, it's not everything, but it is the foundation of everything. And so when we have this right mindset, well, now we can move through life. And my favorite way to move through life is like a game. It's a game with levels. And it's like, okay, what's this level about? What's the level? What do I have to overcome in this level? What do I have to figure out in this level? Where's the like super power ups in this level? What am I supposed to do in this level? Because when I can approach it like that, that helps me to have that one mind focus. And it helps me to realize that I'm set up to win, but I got to figure the game out, right? So when we're thinking about playing in frequency, mindset is one of the number one things. And I'm going to tell you, let me break this down because it's going to make so much sense for you after I say this. Frequency is the undercurrent of what you're thinking. Okay. So, in example, if I feel the need to control something, the frequency of feeling like I need to be in control, the undercurrent of that is I don't trust. I don't trust it's going to go where it needs to go. I don't trust life is supporting me. I don't trust that things are going to fall into place unless I control them. So you see that? Okay. If I am desperately wanting something and I'm like, oh, but I want it, right? Like, I want that thing. I want something. The undercurrent frequency of I want is I don't have it. And the thing that is always going to manifest in your life is the undercurrent, not the conscious thought. It's always going to be the undercurrent that manifests. So if I am in a consciousness of I need to control things, I am in a frequency of I don't trust, which is a frequency of lack, distrust, lack, scarcity, all these realms of the ego, right? If I am in a frequency of I want, I am living, if I'm in a conscious thought of I want, I'm in a frequency of I don't have, lack. Do you see it? Okay, great. Marley, love it. How do I flip it? Right. It all comes back to your awareness. And then you got to look at, okay, so in our control, if the control points to you don't trust, then I've got to start working on my trust muscle, don't I? Because it points everywhere. It's like, I don't trust that person to make the right decision, so I need to make sure they make the right decision. I don't trust that the things at work are going to go the way that they're supposed to go because I don't trust the people are going to do what they're supposed to do. I've got to start putting trust into things, which also leads to what? A trust in yourself. It's really wild, isn't it? Because control gives you the illusion you trust yourself. It is literally the exact opposite. If I feel like I have to control everything, it means I don't trust life. If I don't trust life, it means I don't trust myself. It's all correlated, it's all connected. So if I am in the I want, right? Because it's very natural for us to be in I want. Like we're programmed this way. Like I want things. I want, whatever it is. I've got to switch that undercurrent for gratitude, not just for what you have. Okay. I'm going to help you out with this because I know a lot of times we're like taught just be in gratitude and then gratitude amplifies. And that's true. But that doesn't really get rid of the I want feeling, right? Because your brain is like, but I don't have. But I don't have. Okay. What you're going to do is switch it into gratitude for the availability, the opportunity for you to walk the path to go after what you want. Ooh, do we hear it? Gratitude for the opportunity and the resources I do have available to go after what I want. Gratitude for the level of the game I'm on. Gratitude for what is available to me so that I can go after what I want. We're human, okay? And I get it. Like, I really, really do. Because the number of times that I have like pictured this future reality that I want, and then I get frustrated because I am one of those people, like, and I've been this way since I was a kid. Like I paint and draw and do all the things. But when I was a kid, I could see the picture that I wanted to draw in my mind, but I didn't have the skill set to do it. And it would make me so mad. Like it would make me so mad. And I'm still that way, but now I'm that way with things I want to create in life. I can see the vision, but I don't yet have the skill set to create that vision. But do you know what I do have? I have the ability and the capability to walk the path to develop that skill set. And that's where we got to bring in gratitude. We got to get real about what's right in front of us. You have everything you need to start walking the path. Are you an energetic match for the big thing that you want? No, because if you were, you would have it. But you are an energetic match for the path towards it. And we got to bring in gratitude for that. Do you see how that switched your frequency immediately? Are you in lack anymore? Or are you grateful for the path that you can walk now? You're like, oh, it almost gets exciting because now you're viewing it properly. Now you've got your mind on board. You're not seeing it as some lack situation where you're sitting here lacking everything and everything you want is on some future timeline. It's like, oh, wait, I have this. Listen, you have a capable body and a device to watch this on, you are ahead of like 90% of the world. And I know we don't think about that a whole lot, but we should. We have resources that we can use to start moving our bodies towards what it is that we want. But if we sit here and we play in the realm of lack, you won't be able to see that. So you got to switch to the other frequency. You've got to switch to what is available in front of you to go after what you want, to do what you want. The number of times where like I've thought about it and then I'm like, okay, what do I have available to me that I can start utilizing today, right now to create what I want? And it's like boom, 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 boom. So almost to the point where I feel like a guilty asshole that like I've ever complained about anything, like legitimately. So we got to start playing. Is everybody hyped up to go play? Like, play with your frequencies. Whatever you see in some beautiful future vision timeline, you got to start asking yourself, what do I have available to me right here, right now, that I can start embodying that in the present moment? And what's cool about this, and we don't have time to get into it today, but those of you who are joining me in the 6-month spiritual coach training program, we go into this and I fully explain it so that you can completely understand it and coach your clients through it. When you embody something, now embodiment means it is a part of my life, it's a part of my existence. It's no longer in the I want, it's no longer in the I know, it is in the it's who I be. Okay. It's the difference between I want to work out every day, I should work out every day, I can tell you everything I know about working out every day, and actually being the person who it's part of your existence that you work out every day. That's the difference. So when it becomes embodied, nothing changes before you embody it. When you embody something, everything in your snow globe, your personal reality, everything starts shifting and changing because everything in your snow globe has to match your identity. And when we embody new things, meaning we do the things that we know or we do the things that we see in the present moment, when it becomes part of your existence, everything in your reality starts changing because your manifested reality is a projection of your identity. I know that was like, whoo, up here. But if you got it, you got it. Embodiment of what it is that we want, embodiment of who it is that we want to be. So, doing the actions and starting to take on the mindset of this is part of my life, this is part of my life plan. That right there in the solar plexus starts to change and rearrange your idea of who you are and your idea of what's possible for you. So, when you shift and change your idea of who you are and your idea of what's possible for you, everything in your reality starts changing because everything has to line up with the frequency of you. We're just solving the whole world today, are we not? This is the foundation of everything that I teach, especially when we're talking about how to help someone move from where they are to where they want to be. When we're talking about being where you are and being where you want to be, a full comprehensive understanding of how energy works with your mind and your definition of self, your identity, is completely vital. Without that, it's all willpower, and willpower dies in a week, maybe less. We have to create a shift at the identity level. When you create a shift at the identity level, your entire reality matches you naturally. This is the difference between going out and trying to manipulate the world, control, hello. This is the difference between going out and trying to manipulate the world and working on yourself, becoming a new version of you, and watching your reality change naturally to match you. This is the magic. This is what we do. Amen and the hallelujahs. Okay, I'm going to stop talking because I've been talking for a while now. I love you guys so much. What a great subject for a Monday. I hope you go and play with this. Remember, your self-awareness, your mindset, and your embodiment is everything in terms of shifting your reality because you have to shift the definition of who you believe you are. If you want to come and learn this in depth, become a master around this, and start to coach other people while also changing and transforming your own life, come and ask me about the spiritual coach training program. It's my 6-month in-depth training program through the energetic realm, through the mindset, through coaching, through identity. It is a phenomenal program. It will completely change your life. You can read testimonials for days from the women that have been through it. So if you're interested in that, come and ask me for all of the details and information. We're in early enrollment now, and there are some major bonuses, especially if you're wanting to start a business helping people. I love you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you Wednesday for another episode of The Morning Show. Goodbye, my loves. Goodbye.